Hello everyone, it's been a bit of a wandering video this time. I've been on the beach quite a bit and I'll tell you for why, because it's the gap between Easter and the summer holidays. So the weather's nice but there aren't so many visitors, so it's just lovely to wander along a fairly quiet beach. And I'm a bit of a fanatic when it comes to beach finds, as you'll have seen in the video before this little clip. I love to collect beach finds. I don't collect many shells. I like shells to stay on the beach, although I do collect some, but I'm mainly looking for what is really junk, which is sea glass and sea pottery. And I thought you might like to see what I've done with it over the years. It's projects that pop up quite regularly in my world because I just love to explore, starting with the smallest fragment that you can find on a beach, and where does that journey take you and how do you get there. And I thought it might be quite nice to unpack that little bit by going backwards through my work, and you can have a look and you can think, oh, I see, and I've got one of those and I could do that. It'll just be a little spark, I hope, for people to start thinking about the beach. I think we all love the beach, and we all love a nice quiet long walk on the beach. And today was just lovely. The sun is out just, but it was just 3 of us on the beach, and it's the same 3 dog walkers, and it was just so peaceful. So I thought, oh, when I get back, I'm just going to share how I move from a tiny fragment to a final piece. So I hope it's useful. Anyway, I'll turn the camera around and you can see what you think. Okay, so this is where I might start. This is just a little collection. I need a poker. Just a little collection of beach finds. So I've got some sea glass and 2 different finds of pottery, and I just love that because they'll probably be from different times. And then if I was tempted to lift a shell, it would be one of these sorts of shells with the fossilized pattern on the front and the back, and the fact that it's largely intact on quite a rocky shore. So I just love that. That's a story in itself. So where would I start? Well, I always start with my sketchbook, but I've actually cut these out with my sketchbook. Now, this was when I got back from the beach on that day. They weren't like this, but they were tessellated. I don't remember how they went. It doesn't matter now. But imagine that they were tessellated. And I just literally drew round the things that I'd gathered. And then I got my inks out and went a bit nuts. And then I created a very psychedelic piece, which is sold, sadly, so I can't show you. But that would have been my starting point. So you can start by just drawing around the shapes and see where that takes you. That's a fabulous way to start. And that's where this whole journey started. And then what do I do next? Well, I always do my little design sheet, do you see? So I've captured my colours that I wanted to use, and then I've captured some of my effects and patterns. And obviously waves are living, breathing things that are moving all the time. So I captured some of the shapes and some of the fabrics that I wanted. Some of them would be hand dyed, some of them would be found fabrics. So I always do that. I'd have done this for a course, but what I've done really is gather things together that I've still got that are useful reference materials. So this one was also done in a course that I was offering, and we looked at mark making. It was a sketchbook course, and we did mark making, then we cut it out into larger and smaller. Do you see? So you're playing with composition here, mark making, composition, colour, values, that sort of thing. And you learn such a lot from this activity. It's the kind of thing I would never get rid of because I just feel it's taught me so much, and I would like to keep it as reference material. And then this, I talked about this course in particular, Reclaimed Landscape, which I now offer as ebooks, and I'll pop the link below. But this was really about making miniature landscapes. So having less space to fill, and extending the time that you can do it in. And this course was about flipping, things that we use for things that were more eco-friendly. So we flipped and made something almost entirely out of waste. So it's stamped by polystyrene that I found in the recycling. This is a piece of packaging box, and I've also got some botanical inks on there. So, but what I wanted to show you was that, when I find it, I'm really drawn with this one here. And then I kind of went like that today, and I thought, oh, so watch that space. We'll see if that takes me anywhere, won't we, over time. And then I did this in a course, and again I've kept it, and going through my boxes, I've got sort of, not big boxes, sort of, little tidy boxes of small things that I've kept that I think might be useful. This was a lovely exercise, which I will tell you about one day, but the reason I've kept it was there was quite a lot of blue and natural colours in there. And I just thought, oh, I just like this, and I also like the format of a concertina book. So anyway, it's with my bundle now, and it's helping my thinking. Talking about thinking, some of you know this already, but I'm a meditation teacher. So sometimes I paint little patterns onto my beach vines, and then these patterns are indicative of a meditation that I've written. And they're so tactile, and I think sometimes people find it quite hard to get into meditation. But I've written the stories out in the little packs that go out. People know the story, and so when they're trying to think about the story, they've got the actual thing there to feel, and they all feel differently. And one of the nice things is pick it up without seeing it, and do you know what the story is? So this is my personal set. I don't have any of these in my shop at the moment because I just haven't had time to do them. But when I found them, I thought, oh, I must get back to that, because it is such a lovely way. And you saw me packing small boxes, my small boxes of beach finds and fabrics and coordinated threads and beads are my biggest seller actually on my Etsy store. The tiny little A7 boxes, and they've gone out all over the world in the last 2 or 3 years. So, but I might get back and have a go at doing some of these. And they come in a tiny wee bag, do you see, with a little scroll with the stories. It just takes me quite a lot of time to produce. So the sorts of things that I would produce, I did this in lockdown, between the two lockdowns at Christmas, where suddenly the rules changed and loved ones couldn't get to be together, and my daughter couldn't come home, and I was devastated. But I knew I was running a project called 52 Stitch Stories. I knew everyone was in the same boat. So I sort of reached out to the community and said, let's make a pocket. So between Christmas and New Year, which was quite a hard time for some of us, we made a pocket. And inside the pocket, we had little bits of paper that are very well worn. I need to re-glue some of that. And we put little notes about what I wanted to do when the lockdown was over. And I've done all those things in there. I've kept this pocket, and although it's a memory of quite a sad time, the fact that I did all the bits, that did all the activities that were on the bits of paper, that stayed with me, and I just love that. And this is all just tiny bits of fabric, again hand dyed. This will be chamomile, that will be hawthorn. That's not hand dyed. That I've got that from somewhere. A lovely button from a friend, and just goes on. Just people give me their spare yarns. I mean, I didn't dye that, and I didn't dye that, but I know who gave them to me, and I know they were hand dyed, which is lovely. So it's got meaning, and it was for me, and I just love it, and I get it out regularly. And one day I might put some new things in there, little creative affirmations. That would be quite nice. But the piece that ended the journey of the tessellation that I started with at the beginning was this piece. I'll have to put it through the camera so you can see, but I'll do that now. You can see, so it was on a piece of driftwood. Just love that. Looks like it's been braided, doesn't it? Love that. And then it's just all, this was the tessellation on that day. Now you can see the tessellation. It's a proper tessellation. It went all the way along. It's very linear. And the fabrics are all hand dyed or bundle dyed by me, and layered. I do like my layers. I think it gives it, and also I think probably got a bit of cotton batting in there. Yes, I think I have. So it's very gently quilted, giving it a little bit more texture. And then these are all the beach vines, all stitched with bits and pieces, hand-dyed fabrics, hand-dyed fibres, scraps really, lots of scraps. I can remember, where's my poker? I can remember somebody gave me a piece of silk and I just popped it in. It was a very small bit. I just popped it in with an onion dye. When it came out, I thought that'll do my brown bit of sea glass. So it's just scraps, but why have I got it? Why didn't I sell it? Because I used to be a selling artist. Because it took me so long to do, if I'm honest. And I thought I won't really be able to put a realistic price on it. And sometimes that happens. And I just love the simplicity of this journey. And I kept it instinctively thinking, this is a really good thing to share, that you start with tiny little fragments. Can't even find them. There you go, girl. You start with tiny little fragments and then you work out from there. And it's really the most simple pattern, but I think it's really effective and I really enjoyed doing it. And I hope you like it. And I hope this little chat's been useful and it might spark off some thinking for you with fragments that you might have collected and you've got around your house. I hope you've all had a lovely day. Until next time.